If you want to start a business but also be present for your kids, we're going to talk today about how I did it and suggestions for you on how to do so. I'm Darcel Lobo. I'm an attorney. I own my own law firm. I opened it in March of 2016, and at that time my kids were, 6 and 4 at the time. And so today we're going to kind of dive into how you can fulfill your dream of becoming a business owner while also managing your personal and family life. A lot of people talk about this as far as like a work-life balance. I don't like that term because I feel like it gives this connotation that there's this expectation that there will be perfect balance, that there will be perfect harmony. And so instead, I refer to it as like a work-life juggle. I don't want to drop the balls all over the floor, right? I want to keep all the balls in the air. Sometimes they're really high, sometimes they're really low, but I never have found that I have this perfect balance in life. And so I don't want you to feel like if I don't have perfect balance, then I'm failing. I haven't done it right. I haven't figured it out, because I don't know if there really is a true balance. But it's about juggling and keeping all those balls in the air. And so we're going to talk about how you can do so if you're looking to go out on your own, need some words of encouragement that you can do it. We're going to go over that today. And so let's just face it that it's hard to be able to be there for your family, be a spouse, be a mom, and also have this like desire to have a fulfilling career. And it's just like, how do I do both, right? How am I going to be able to do both? And there's a lot of imposter syndrome and fear that comes with, and then you have the mom guilt that comes along with it if you're using time to focus on your work and on your business. And so you have to find a way to know that there is going to be a juggle. There are going to be times that it's not always just right, and that's okay, right? And that there are going to be times where your family requires more of your time, and so you have a little bit less to give to work, or that work requires more of your time and you have a little bit less, some nights to give to your family. I think that's why being a business owner as a mom is really ideal, because you get to build that flexibility and that freedom with your time into your business and how you structure your working hours and what type of business that you're going to have for yourself. And so even as a law firm owner, when I went out on my own, that was one of the biggest driving forces, was being able to kind of design a schedule that worked for me and for my family, being able to take my kids to school, being able to pick them up after school, being able to go to the Girl Scout meetings, being able to go to the basketball games and be on the PTA, right? And so designing your firm, and even if you're not a lawyer or a law firm owner, any kind of business that you want to go into, being able to design it in a way that supports you and what you want to do, but also supports your family. But also it requires that you do so in a way that's intentional, right? And so you have to be very you know, um, careful and thoughtful about your availability and your schedule and what you can and cannot commit to. And know that it always comes in small steps. And we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress, but not perfection. Because even now, my kids are 15 and almost 13 now. I don't have it all figured out. It's not always perfect. It's not always easy. Like sometimes it's really hard, but it's worth it to me and it's rewarding to me. And so let's talk about how you can do so as well. So, if you're anything like me as a professional, I had children, my first child, my daughter, right after I took my bar exam. No, I got pregnant right after my bar exam. And so I took my bar exam in July and had my daughter that following May. So I think I got pregnant, what would that be? Like September or so? I don't even think I had my bar results yet. I didn't even know if I passed the bar yet or not when I was pregnant with my daughter. And so from the jump, when I first started my career, I had to consider, my pregnancy and child and my family and what that was going to look like. And I initially felt like my options were going to be limited, right? And there were limitations there, but you get to decide what that looks like, and that's what led me to going out on my own in 2016. Is like, okay, I'm tired of working for somebody else. I'm tired of making money for someone else. I'm tired of being on their schedule. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my kids. If I have a kid that's sick, like I don't need to feel bad about having to call in to work because my kid is sick. Like I'm just staying home with my kid. Like there's no question about that. And so being able to have that control and autonomy as a business owner is really what drove me to go out on my own. And so, if you're trying to figure out, well, what is that for you? What do you want to do as a business owner? What can you do? I'd really look at kind of what are your skills, what are your passions, what is your available time, what can you commit to? There's really no end as far as what the opportunities may be for you, especially now. And there's so many types of business industries you can go into, right? Whether it's service based, if you're doing like freelance work or coaching or consulting work on a skill or expertise that you have that you can offer. Or maybe it's product based. Maybe you want to open your own Etsy shop, right? Or some kind of e commerce business. Maybe you want to do digital content. Maybe you want to be, on YouTube or a blogger or other digital products. Like there's just so many options that are available to you. It's figuring out what that looks like. What do you have passion for? What do you care about? And what do you actually want to do? Now, here comes the hard part of it is really figuring out what your time commitment is. And it's going to be different based on the ages of your kids, right? And so if you have babies, if you have toddlers, if you have school age kids, if you have teenagers, right? The amount of time that you have available. And I can tell you right now, it's July, it's summer. And one would think that when the kids are out of school for the summer, that you have more time. That is the furthest thing from the truth. My schedule for my kids is more hectic now than it is when they're in school. When they're in school, at least I'm dropping them off in the morning and picking them up after school. So I have a good 5 to 6 hour block of time, but not now because now they have different schedules. They have different sport camps. My son has basketball clinic. My daughter has volleyball camp. My daughter is working this week. This is her first job. Very exciting. It's just a little 1 week gig at a science camp, but very exciting. But I am all over the place. And then also you add in that you're trying to schedule all their appointments during the summer so they're not missing school. So the eye doctor visits, the dentist visits. My son just got his braces off, so getting that done. It's just like all the things that you cram into your summer. And it's just like each day my schedule is crazy. And I know that, so I plan for that with my work. And so summer I take like a little bit of a lighter load when it comes to work because I already know that day to day I'm kind of all over the place. And while it's kind of hectic and stressful, it's also, I appreciate being able to do those things. I appreciate being able to have the time and have the flexibility that I can do those things, take my kids to those things, and let them have those experiences, and that my work affords me that opportunity to do so. So it can be more stressful, but at the end of the day, like it's worth it. And I know that that's one of the reasons why I went out on my own, is that so I could do those things and be there for them in that way. So that's kind of my thoughts on time. And so during the school year, it's much more kind of routine, it's more consistent when it comes to the kids' schedules and the time that I have to commit. But also make sure you're taking advantage of calendar apps and task lists and meal planning. I'm not as great about it now as I used to be, but I used to be more of like a meal prepper and at least a meal planner. So like, every Sunday figuring out what we're going to eat for the week. And then even as something as small as like my groceries, like I don't really go into the grocery store and go up and down the aisles anymore. It takes way too much time. And then also I have a cart full of stuff that I didn't even really need. And then I for sure will forget something. If I'm making spaghetti one night, I bought the noodles, I bought the meat for it, but I forgot the seasoning packet, right? Like I always would forget something. So we have a Fred Meyer here in our area. And so I use it's called ClickList, where you can place your order online and go pick it up. I think most of your bigger chain grocery stores offer that. It saves me so much time in the grocery store, but then also like it allows me to just you also save money because you're not going up and down the aisles buying things that you don't need. But also I know, okay, we're going to eat these meals for dinner throughout the week. These are the ingredients that I need, and getting that all in my online cart just makes it so much easier, such a time saver, such a money saver, and allows me to have what I need during the week instead of having to run to the grocery store on Monday and then again on Tuesday, then again on Thursday because I need this ingredient. I forgot this one thing. And so it makes it so much easier for me when I'm planning the meals for my family during the week. Again, during the summer, I'm not as great about it. I should be, but I'm not. But during the school year, I'm much better about managing that schedule and doing the meal planning for the weeks for the family. And so when you decided to open your own business, one of the many things you're going to do is try to start developing your online presence, right? And so letting people know what you do and how you can help them, right, is one of the biggest things you need to do as a business owner to be able to get clients and to make those sales. And so you're setting up your website, you're doing your social media or whatever it may be for your business and your industry to be able to promote your business and let people know what you're doing. When it comes to running your business and kind of the home life and the demands on you at home, trying, and I say this, but I know that it's not really all that doable. But trying to have like your mom time and then your work time. Like here at home, I have this home office. It has a door, but still the kids sometimes are just like, still knocking, still want something, still need something. And so I'm not always able to have that definitive like mom time and work time, but I try to. And for the most part, my kids know, like if the door is closed, like unless somebody's bleeding, like don't come in, don't knock, right? But that doesn't always work out that way, especially for kids who are younger. And so do what you can, do your best, but know that it's not always going to be perfect. You're going to have to kind of just juggle those things and figure out kind of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Okay, jumping back in, my audio went out on that, which I realized after I finished the video. So jumping back in really quick to talk about, I wanted to go into finding a co-working space because sometimes you have to get out of your home, even if you have a home office, to find a co-working space maybe, or some other space outside of your home to be able to work on your business. And so that can be, there's a lot of options out there as far as like renting offices or conference rooms by the hour. And so I would look into that if you need an option to get out of the home to be able to really have that focus time to work on your business and get out of the home and really have that separation between your, home and family time and then your actual work time, and getting things done in your business. And, all this to say is that it's not always going to be perfect. And that's one of the things that are one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn is that you're looking for progress, not perfection. There are times that it's not always figured out. And that's why I say that I don't really buy into this work-life balance concept, more of a juggle, because there's been times where we've been on vacation. I mean, there's this one time we went camping at Mount Rushmore, and I had to do a call for work when I was at the campsite. It was actually a court call. I had to attend a hearing while I was at the campsite. And, part of me could have felt like, really, upset that I had to do work when I was there and not being able to just, spending time with my family and not have work things arise. But, on the flip side of that, at least I was able to be there. At least I have, a career and I built a business for myself where I'm able to take that on the road. And so I can go to Mount Rushmore. We've been to Yellowstone. We've been to the Grand Canyon. We've done, all kinds of like longer distance trips, for like a week or two. And sometimes I have to do a little bit of work or I have to do a court call. And at least I was able to be there. At least I was able to go and not stuck to, my desk. And so being able to have that flexibility and remember that, okay, sometimes you may have to do some work when you're having family time or on vacation, things like that. But at least you have, a business for yourself that we are able to do those things. And so I try to keep that in mind and remember that at least I'm able to create this life for myself, for my family, where I'm able to, have both, do both. Again, it's not always balanced. It's not always perfect, but we're not looking for that. We're looking for just, progress and being able to have a satisfying career while also showing up as, a mom or parent, as a spouse, or how you want to show up in your personal life. And so that's what today's video was really about, was how to do both, how to show up in your family life, but also have a fulfilling career, especially if it's one that you've worked really hard towards and you don't want to give that up when you become, when you get married or have kids. And so how can you have both? There is a way to have both. Just don't expect it to be perfect all the time because that's not going to be the case, right? You're going to be juggling things. There's going to be highs and lows. There's going to be times where your family needs more from you or where your work needs more from you. And you have to be able to kind of be flexible and adapt and juggle those things as needed. So I hope this is helpful. If you want to hear more from, a working mom who's built a business for herself and juggles that work life and personal life, make sure you stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye.